Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dear devotees. We are reading Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 1. The title is The First Step in God Realization. Our today's discussion will start from text number 36. Before we start our new discussion today from text 36, we will have a quick recap of what we have seen before. Satish Prabhu, if you can recap in couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thanks for the opportunity, Prabhuji. What I'll do is just provide a little summary, just beginning from maybe text 22 to just give a bit of context. So, in text 22, Maharaj Parikshit asked a question to Sukadev Goswami that to please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things can be removed. And Sukadev Goswami begins to explain how one has to control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of Sri Krishna, which is also called the Virat Rupa. And Sukadev Goswami then goes on to describe the universal form or the Virat Rupa, saying that this gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the absolute truth, Sri Krishna. And therefore, anything either material or spiritual is just but an expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. On describing the various forms, the various aspects of Sri Krishna's Virat Rupa, we learn from Srila Prabhupada that our senses are imperfect, whereas the descriptions in the Shastras is always complete and perfect. That we must always accept the description of the Shastras and concentrate more on the form of the Virat Rupa than on common sense. Example given by Prabhuji was when Shri Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill with one little finger. For a lot of people, that can be very hard to understand, but this is where Shastras should be accepted as being complete and perfect. Also from Srila Prabhupada, we learn that this material creation is a result of Sri Krishna casting a glance over the material energy, which is also the energy which is alluring and illusory. And that conditioned souls who are allured by this material energy are put under the direction of Yamaraj. However, intelligent persons who can grasp these truths about Sri Krishna becomes a soul that is fully surrendered to him. So all the descriptions that are provided by Sukadev Goswami about the Virat Rupa is to confirm that Sri Krishna has a personal form, but for those that cannot perceive this, can appreciate or worship the Lord even by seeing the hills or seeing the mountains or the oceans, etc., as parts and parcel of this gigantic body of Sri Krishna. Also, by Sukadev Goswami's descriptions, we over the verses, we come to understand that Sri Krishna is also active, and that everything is done under his control and direction. An example is given that the air that exists on the planets is nothing but a breath of Sri Krishna's Virat Purusha. So, in essence, what we've learned so far is that even by studying the rivers, the trees, etc., the air, one can understand and conceive the perception of Sri Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhu, I hope that provides a good summary of where we're at. Hare Krishna.
Absolutely fantastic. Amazing summary. Thank you so much. I pray that you become a Bhagavatam speaker soon and you teach many, many students. Only one little addition. You mentioned the air in all these planets is like a breath of Krishna. But here Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the air in between all the planets, all the universes and everywhere, that's all the breath of Krishna. Very beautiful. And you also summarized what's coming in text number 38 and 39 as well, that how one can meditate in different trees, forest, ocean and everything. And one can think that as a body, parts, organs of Krishna. Thank you so much, Satish Prabhu. So text number 36, I will recite Sanskrit, and Padma Mataji, if you can do the English translation for us. Vayamsi tadvyakaranam vichitram manur manisha manujo nivasa gandharva vidyadhara charanapsara Swara smritera surani kavirya.
Hare Krishna, all. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Varieties of birds are indications of his masterpiece, artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm, and the demoniac soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess.
Prowess. That means his power, his strength, virya, prowess. It is mentioned here. Thank you so much, Padma Mataji. We have many people joining from USA. Very good. We are becoming an international group now. So here the flow, Sukdev Goswami continues the discussion of Virat Rupa, going from the bodily parts, the organs, starting from the feet of the Lord, going to above ankles, thighs, waist, and neck, shoulders, arms, and the face we saw. Now the flow goes towards his senses as well, his artistic sense, his musical sense, his intelligence, just to establish, how he is a personal form, the Supreme Lord. So here let's begin one by one. The first one mentioned is varieties of birds are indication of his masterful artistic sense. The first line in the translation as well as the first line in the purport, Prabhupada mentions the aesthetic sense of the Lord is manifested in the artistic, colorful creation of varieties like bird, like the peacock, parrot, and cuckoo. If you observe the aesthetic sense, this artistic sense of the Lord, when you see a peacock feather, how beautiful. You closely observe. I mean, we are busy in our life, but when you see a peacock feather, they are so beautiful. The color combinations, the pattern, the design, the way it is made, and how the patterns, the colorful combinations, so beautiful. And here it says, we are talking about just one peacock feather. But when you see a peacock, especially when the peacock spreads his feather, it's so beautiful. These days in Western countries, we don't see peacock much, especially maybe in the zoo. But I come from India. I remember very well my childhood days in the farms, wherever we go. I come from a small village. There are peacocks everywhere. And especially in the rainy season, when they spread their wings and they start dancing, it looks so magnificent, so beautiful. And here it is said that beauty is the artistic sense of Krishna. Peacock and parrot is also mentioned. At that we can see here, the parrot, so beautiful creation, the color combination, the beak is different color, the legs would be different color, the feathers have different green, red, yellow combinations. They are so beautiful. And the flowers, if you see, rose flower, lotus flower, if you observe closely, the petals and the way they are made, it's so beautiful. And it is said here, these varieties or this colorful combination, this creation is the artistic sense of the Lord. How beautifully they are made. If you see the rose flower, the beauty is just gorgeous. It's just stunning. There are people who draw roses, the painting they do, oil painting on canvas, and that painting they look like real rose, and they go in the auctions, the art auctions, and they are sold. If you just research or Google the flower art painting, the top selling prices, there are flowers paintings, they are sold for over 100 million US dollars. 200 million US dollars. The record price is over 400 million US dollars for a art or a photo of a rose which looks like the real. People pay for the painting of a rose which looks like a real because it's beautiful. How much a person should pay to that intelligent creator who creates these millions of in the universe, these roses, and they are so beautiful flowers. We have a rose flower in our front yard and backyard. Do we carefully craft the one by one petal? We make sure it looks like a say. What we do, the sunlight is there, we put water and some fertilizer, and that's it. The beautiful roses come out. So what is mentioned here, how beautiful or how much artistic sense that creator has, who makes all these beautiful things in the nature. Once it reminds me of past time when Srila Prabhupada was traveling on an airplane with his disciple. And those days in 1970s, the aeroplane travel was not that common. And especially with the disciple of Prabhupada. So they were traveling from one place to another in a flight. And as you know, the air hostess, the flight companies, they hire air hostess. They look beautiful just to make our travel pleasant in while we are thousands of feet up in the air. And they dress nicely as well. So when Prabhupada was traveling with his disciple, the disciple maybe new experience from him. So looking in the flight and looking at the air hostess, very beautiful, beautifully dressed as well. And he was just looking at the air hostess. Next to him was Prabhupada, and he was looking at the beauty of air hostess. And after a few seconds, he realized, oh, Prabhupada is next to me, and Prabhupada was watching him. He was watching the air hostess, and Prabhupada was watching him. And then when his eyes met Prabhupada's eyes, and Prabhupada said, beautiful, isn't she? Very beautiful. And Prabhupada said, she is beautiful. Imagine the creator who has created this beauty, the beautiful creation of this. Imagine how beautiful that creator would be. Imagine how beautiful that Krishna is, who can create these billions of beautiful things in this creation. So that is what we understand from the first line of this translation. Second line mentions Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence. First thing was mentioned about his artistic sense, that how beautiful things are in this creation and how great his artistic sense would be. Second thing is mentioned here is his intelligence. If you observe this creation, it is absolutely an intelligent system. सब कुछ हम जो भी देखते हैं in this world, there is an intelligent creator, there is an intelligent system running behind everything. Just a simple example like lifting a finger. If I want to lift a finger, there is so much of intelligence goes behind in this body, this creator who has created this. First, the soul is there, the soul desires. Thinking, feeling, and willing is the characteristics of the soul. The soul desires that I have to lift a finger and want to point at something. But when that thought comes in the soul, the mind accepts it. Okay, yes, we have to lift a finger. But then the message is passed on to the brain starts working on it. When the brain decides that the movement has to be done of lifting a finger, so much engineering goes behind the scenes within our brain, within our body. The brain relieves that electrical signal. Many people in our group are doctors. They know that the brain sends the electrical signals, and that electrical signal triggers that travels through the nervous system. It goes, the nerves carry the message from the brain to through the nervous system, through the spinal cord it carries, and then it releases some chemicals, and then those chemicals are released. It passes on from the hand, the nerves, and that goes to that finger which the soul has desired and the brain has desired to move that little finger. Then certain muscles have to be contracted, some tendons needs to be pulled, some bones move, some bones don't move, and all this just by for lifting a little finger. And that doesn't stop there. Continuous movement is feedback is there. The eyes looks at the finger, whether it has been pointing to the right direction. Imagine my wife is asking, where is the key of the car? And I can see the key of the car in this table here sitting. And my eyes are looking at it. And I want to point. My mouth is speaking. It is on the table here. The table is on the right hand side, but my finger moves on the left hand side because the brain, sending the signal, but it is pointing on the wrong side. So there is a continuous feedback from the eyes to that it's pointing in the right direction. Just lifting a finger, there is so much of chemical engineering, so much of electrical engineering, so much of mechanical engineering, so much going on in this body. Imagine this, everything you observe in this material world. If you see just a leaf on the ground, हमें लगता है कि एक लीफ गिरा है, रास्ते पे हम जा रहे हैं, there are so many leaves, but there is so much intelligence in that. absorbing carbon dioxide, photosynthesis process, taking the sunlight, giving food to all the living entities, all the leaf, plants, trees. So much of these things going on. अपना क्या होता है? Lifting a finger. If this is the intelligent creation of the Lord, where millions of people can able to move and do things. But if a Tesla or this robot they made and the robot is able to walk, it comes in all the news channels, it comes everywhere in the TV, and then the robot or something what a factory is made is able to walk or is able to lift a finger or blink an eye. One little thing, one little robot they make and it comes everywhere. What about that intelligence or the creator whose intelligence is everywhere? Everyone is able to move, walk, lift finger and do everything. If you take a DNA, for example, kitna records in that small little cell, so much record. If you see one programming, there is a great programmer, isne acha coding kar diya. How much coding is there into the DNA? And if you see this Facebook, or now it's called Meta, they are trying to capture this. They have already showed the videos, the new inventions, that they know this brain gives the electrical signals. Say, for example, before it was a mouse, now it's a touch screen. If you want to press a button, the soul desires, the brain decides that I want to touch this button on the screen. So the brain sends an electrical signal which travels, comes to the finger, and we touch the particular button on the screen. What Meta is trying to do, it captures that electrical signal and want to automate with the brain power, that interface they are designing. There are already videos. They have been successful to capture that electrical signal, and the button is pressed just by the thoughts, without lifting the hand, without lifting the finger. That specific button is clicked, that specific scrolling is done just by this brain power. This interface are already designed. But here we see little bit, ek button press kar diya, thought say, it comes everywhere in the news. But what about this intelligent creation? The creator of Supreme Lord's intelligence sense, which is everywhere. People are able to do this, And we have to ask ourselves, there are people who think all this beautiful artistic sense, the beautiful creation, the birds, the peacock feathers, the flowers and everything, all this intelligent system of this universe, has it come by Big Bang? Just by chance, or there is an intelligent creator behind it? अभी bang, बहुत सारे धमाके होते हैं. Now we see two countries are fighting. So many blasts are happening. Have we ever seen a beautiful creation or even a little rose flower coming out of a blast? Or an intelligent creator is there behind. A person with an artistic sense is there who makes this whole nature beautiful things in this creation. So here Prabhupada sometimes writes, many times Prabhupada writes, foolish people think there are no creator. And the scientists think, foolish people think that there is a creator. It's all science. Scientist people, they think that the spiritualists are foolish. And Srila Prabhupada or the spiritualist people think that the scientists are foolish. We have to decide, who do we believe that there is everything has come from a big bang, itna intelligent system within our body, the photosynthesis, the floating air tank, ocean or river में से water लेके farm में गिरता है. People, when the civilization is there, it is all by chance or by big bang, or there is some intelligent system behind it. We have to think our own self, apply our little bit of intelligence and brain what we have. What is the next line mentioned here? The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, angels, all represent his musical rhythm. This is a musical sense of the Lord. You see, artistic sense is described by Sukadeva Goswami. Intelligence is described. The musical sense of the Lord is described. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that look at all this. Musical sense, artistic sense, aesthetic senses, intelligent system. How Lord can be impersonal? Prabhupada writes, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि भगवान के पास personal form नहीं है, the creator के पास नहीं है? Look at all these things. These are the different signs of his supreme personal form. Let's move on to text number 37, Anirvin Prabhu, with the interest of time.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम. हरे कृष्णा डियर डिवोटीज दंडवत प्रणाम. श्रील प्रभात की जय. ब्रह्माननं क्षत्रभुजो महात्मा विदुरुरन्ध्रीश्रितः कृष्णवर्णः नानाविधाभिजगणोपपन्नो द्रव्यात्मकः कर्मवितान योगः.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas. His arms are the Kshatriyas. His thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Here, the demigods are mentioned. It reminds me of the previous verse discussion that once, sorry, I just remember a beautiful pastime and I want to say it before I forget. Once a devotee and one materialistic person, they met. The materialistic person who doesn't believe in God, he asked a devotee, I'm not sure whether it's one Maharaj or someone, and he asked, आप लोग इतना भक्ति भक्ति करते हो, इतना माला करते हो, इतना गीता ये सब पढ़ते हो, what about at the end of the life you find out that God doesn't exist? You know, ये सब science ही था, there is no creator behind it, and it's just a scientific science, everything is. You know, what will happen? And the devotee said, you know, even if at the end of the life we find out that God doesn't exist and it is all science, what did we lose? We live our life beautifully. अच्छे लोगों के साथ, अच्छी company, अच्छा प्रसाद, nice, beautiful, healthy food or delicious food, singing, dancing in the kirtan, going to picnics, have fun all the time. And we have lived our life nicely with healthy choices, good company of people, music, dance, everything. And the devotee said, now, even if God doesn't exist, we have lived our life nicely. And if God exists, we will go back to the spiritual world. But now, my dear friend, think about you. You are living a materialistic life without putting Krishna in the center. And at the end of the life, if you find out that God does exist, आपका क्या होगा? Well, you think about yourself. You are living materialistic life, doing all the nonsense thing. आप तो इधर भी सब कुछ बुरा किया और एंड में पता चला कि भगवान है तो वो भी गए, तुम तो दोनों साइड से गए. You are gone from both the sides. So devotees, you know, that devotee very Jai Krishna Bhakta, bada chatur, he knows how to answer, and he said, you know, we are winning on either way, but you are doomed in either way. You are gone. So here, this text number 37 is mentioning all the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. We have seen many times in the scriptures the demigods worship is being mentioning. Prabhupada writes in the purport that monotheism is mentioned here, that there is only one God, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead. In the scriptures, in the Shastras, yes, many demigods are mentioned, many sacrifices are mentioned for the demigods. किसी को ये चाहिए तो इनकी पूजा करते हैं, किसी को ये चाहिए तो इनकी पूजा कर सकते हैं, because not everyone is on the Shuddha Bhakti platform. Not everyone is a pure devotee where they can worship Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. People have different conditioning, and as our scriptures are all inclusive to capture everyone and to give the path to for ultimate success, there are options for everyone. So that's why all these different sacrifices are mentioned in the scriptures. हमारे शास्त्र में बताया गया है, किसी को, you know, if someone wants money, they can worship Lakshmi ji. If someone wants to get knowledge, they can worship Saraswati ji. If someone wants removing of obstacles for the new project, they can worship Ganesh ji. All this is all mentioned. But here, what is said in this verse by Sukadeva Goswami, that all the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. And it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. You know, this coming from India or Nepal, or, you know, with our samskaras, with our knowledge, we know there are many demigods. I heard recently someone said, in the US, pura population of US is 33 crore. 33 crore तो हमारे इंडिया में इतने demigod है. जितना यूएस का पॉपुलेशन है उतने तो डेमिगॉड है इंडिया में. It is mentioned, for different purpose. I can tell you about myself also. जब मैं when I was student, maybe year 8 up to year 12, I still remember in my bedroom, there were all the demigods photos, and I used to worship every day. सबका मैं आई एम फ्रॉम ए गुजराती बिजनेस फैमिली. जब मुझे पता चला कि लक्ष्मी जी को अगरबत्ती और दिया करने से लक्ष्मी आती है, वी मेक ए डील, पुट लक्ष्मी जी फोटो, अगरबत्ती दिया, आई डू वर्शिप, यू गिव मी लक्ष्मी. Then I heard Saraswati ji helps with the studies to get good numbers. I put a photo of Saraswati ji, अगरबत्ती किया, दिया किया, हाथ जोड़ा, then you give me good numbers. Then Ganesh ji, Shiv ji, Hanuman ji, taking all the Kastabhanjan, all the dukh away. I had, at least I can tell you, 50 demigods. I used to go to the shops where they sell this god, भगवान के देवी देवता के फोटो जो बेचते थे, वो दुकान पे जाता था. एंड वो दुकान वाला जो द शॉप ओनर, आई यूज्ड टू आस्क हिम, कोई नए भगवान आए हैं क्या? आई डोंट वांट टू मिस एनीवन. And my whole wall was full. Every day I used to worship. And मार्केट में कोई नया आया है, कोई मिस नहीं होना चाहिए. क्या होता है, हेल्थ के लिए, फाइनेंस के लिए, एजुकेशन के लिए, सब कुछ मेरे पास. आई डोंट वांट टू मिस एनीवन. एंड I literally my prayers were like that. सरस्वती जी, give me good. इतना मेहनत करके, पढ़ाई करके लोग, but finally the ultimate is सरस्वती जी will give. इतना मेहनत करके लोग पैसे कमाते, finally लक्ष्मी जी is going to give. तो मेरा तो पूरा माइंड सेट था. I knew what to do. पैसा चाहिए, इनकी पूजा करो, एजुकेशन चाहिए, इनकी पूजा करो, हेल्थ चाहिए, इनको पूजा करो. एंड बिलीव इट और नॉट, इट वाज वर्किंग फॉर मी. I was always first in my school, even my in college, university. When I was, मेरे roommates or even my उस time पे my दामरूपी, we were together studying. अगर मैं कहीं नहीं मिलता, उसको पता था मैं मंदिर में बैठा हूँ. Because सारे मेरे friends in the college, they used to study whole night. मैं सुबह सिर्फ थोड़े टाइम के लिए, 1 घंटे के लिए मंदिर में जाके, I used to be always first. Even here in RMIT University, Australia, I was first in the whole university. I got academic highest achievement scholarship. पता है ना, वो देने वाले हैं, हमें क्यों मेहनत करना है? That was my conception. But here, what is said here, that all the demigods overtake the sacrifices to the worship of Lord. Krishna is the ultimate provider. Many examples we have seen before. जैसे we can't give food to the every part of the body. नाक को खाना दिया, दिमाग को खाना दिया, हाथ को खाना दिया, arms, shoulders, legs. We can't give food. All we do is give food to the stomach. And then everywhere the nourishment is provided. In the same way, we worship Krishna and all other demigods are pleased. Another example is given is, we give water to the root of the tree and all parts of the tree, all leaf, all branches, everything is nourished. In the same way, when we worship Krishna, everything is, all the demigods, everyone is pleased by it. We hear this so many times. We have heard this in Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vriksha, in all these lectures, that only when we worship Krishna, everyone is pleased. But are we able to do that? I remember still the days, one by one, जब मैंने सुना कि ये कृष्णा की भक्ति करना है, तब ये सब demigods please, they are happy. So one by one, I had Brahma ji, I had everyone, one by one हाथ जोड़ के, now I am going to the supreme person, and they are happy. एक बार मैंने एक भक्त को पूछा, senior devotee who was guiding me, my mentor, my teacher, I said, मैं तो इनकी इतने सालों से पूजा करता आया हूँ, how can I stop worshipping them? मैं एकदम से उनकी पूजा कर दूंगा तो वो लोग नाराज हो जाएंगे, मेरी जिंदगी में कुछ खराब हो जाएगा. सरस्वती जी की फॉर एग्जांपल पूजा बंद कर दिया और मैंने कृष्णा की पूजा शुरू कर दी, then सरस्वती जी will be angry and then she will not give me good grades, good education. And my mentor, my guide, he said that when you go to Krishna, all the demigods, they are pleased a million times more. They become more happy. अरे फाइनली उसमें बुद्धि आया, फाइनली ही इज गोइंग टू द सुप्रीम. ये छोटी मोटी चीजें, दे आर, ही इज नॉट आस्किंग, मेरा बेटा बड़ा हो गया, बच्चा बुद्धि आ गया है इसमें, कि गाड़ी मांगेंगे, कितने साल चलेगी गाड़ी, 10-20 साल चलेगी, 50 साल चलेगी, लेकिन फाइनली that is going to go. And even if the demigods have all these powers, वो कहाँ से आता है? It is Lord Shri Krishna who has empowered these demigods to give. So instead of bothering them, why not we go to the ultimate Krishna? मेरे जो मेंटर थे उन्होंने मैं बोला मैं क्या करूँ, ये गणेश जी है, शिव जी है, हनुमान जी है, मेरे घर पे तो सब कुछ है. माय फ्रेंड्स, आई रिमेम्बर मेरे कॉलेज के फ्रेंड्स, उनके बेडरूम में जाओ तो बॉलीवुड एक्ट्रेसेस के फोटो थे, गाड़ी के फोटो थे, स्पोर्ट्स कार के फोटो थे. मेरे कमरे में कोई आता था कॉलेज पे. आई यूज्ड टू लिव एज अ पेइंग गेस्ट इन अ फार फ्रॉम माय होम समवेयर. इफ समवन कम्स टू माय हाउस, ऑल द डेमिगॉड्स, देवी देवता के फोटो थे. बिकॉज आई वॉज वेरी फोकस्ड, आई न्यू कि मुझे यही चाहिए और यही लोग देने वाले हैं. आई वॉज नॉट साइड ट्रैक्ड. लेकिन वन बाय वन आई हैड टू टेक ऑफ. जब मुझे ये सब पता चला, एक वन बाय वन वी हैव टू टेक ऑफ. एंड ही सेड, मैंने बोला क्या करूं, ये गणेश जी है इधर, क्या करूं? बोला मुझे दे दो सब कुछ, गिव मी एवरीथिंग, आई विल लुक आफ्टर देम, यू हैव ओनली कृष्णा. एंड नाउ यू सी, I have only Radha Krishna everywhere. And believe it or not, the demigods are pleased, and nothing we feel, something, they get angry, they get upset if we want stop worshiping them. Kuch nahi hota. They actually become more pleased because all the sacrifices, all finally ultimately it going to Krishna only, and the blessings, it's coming from Krishna only. Time is getting, sorry, 38. Radhika Mataji, फटाफट करना पड़ेगा.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat pranam to all. If Shushila Mataji wants to read the translation. Yan asavishwara vigrahasya yasannivesha kathito mayate sandharyate asmin vapushi stavishte mana swabuddhya nayato asti kinchit.
Can someone else read?
If Pankaj Prabhu wants to read.
Hare Krishna devotees, translation by His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I have thus explained to you the gross, material, gigantic concept or conception of the personality of Godhead. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on this form of the Lord, because there is nothing more than this in the material world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Sukdev Goswami is speaking here that he's explaining to Parikshit Maharaj and now concluding this Virat Rupa or universal form, and he's saying, I have thus explained to you the gross material, gigantic conception of the personality of God. The material, conception, जो हमने planetary systems and everything, the creation, that ocean, clouds, everything what we see. So he is saying is a gross material gigantic conception of the personality of Godhead. And even the last line of the translation, if we focus on, it says, because there is nothing more than this in this material world. So those people, as we discussed before, who only want to see or who are only able to understand the material things in this world, for them Virat Rupa or universal form is mentioned. There are two paragraphs in this purport for this sloka, and the two important things are mentioned. The first one is Prabhupada is writing that this whole material nature, the whole material creation, whatever is explained before, different planetary systems, 7 planetary systems up above and the below and everything, all this material nature is just one energy of Krishna. And that energy, this material nature, is acting under the supervision of Krishna. Prabhupada writes, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Se Characharam. This Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, ये जो प्रकृति है, ये मेरे Maya Adhyakshena, मेरे supervision से चलती है. Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. So this whole material nature is energy of Krishna, and it is operated or it is working under the direction of that supreme creator Lord Shri Krishna. And this material nature is temporary. Lord is transcendental, but this, even the demigods, this whole creation is temporary. It was not there before. Vishnu is lying in a Karanadaksha, Vishnu in the Karana Sagar is lying, causal ocean, and the universes are created. This material nature is created. Even the demigods are created. They were not before. Lord is transcendental, but everything else is created and highlighted again and again. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning in the first paragraph of this verse. Second is mentioned people who do not believe Lord comes as one of us. Krishna is coming within us as one of us and performing the pastime. It is his mercy. भगवान अपनी दया कृपा की वजह से हमारे बीच में आके pastimes करते हैं ताकि वो सबको attract कर सके, and people are attracted to go back to the spiritual world. But there are some people who do not believe that how can this person, or how can one person who lives amongst us, who behaves amongst us, though same form as us, how can that person be God? You know, for them, there are materialistic people, scientists, researchers, they are attached to this whole creation, material creation, gigantic creation. ये सब planetary systems, उन सब जो दिखता है उसी research में वो सब फंसे रहते हैं. So for them it's difficult to believe that someone who is living among us, he is the supreme Lord. So उनके लिए Prabhupada writes in the purport that because they are unable to accept the personal feature of the supreme Lord, these people are unable to accept the personal feature of the Lord. The Lord is merciful, very kind enough to demonstrate this Virat Roop, the universal gigantic form, so that people can relate at least. This particular verse, text number 38 का second purport, Aruna Mataji, you asked the question कि लोग मानते नहीं है form में. This particular purport, if you read, again and again, it will give you that answer. Couple of days back, what you asked, that how can someone doesn't believe in God, but still he is advised to meditate on this. इधर लिखा है प्रभुपाद ने इसमें, forest, hill, ocean, man, animal, demigod, everything, the birds, the beast, everything, a person is being directed from the godless mind, godless understanding, to at least some bodily parts of a gigantic creator. And then what happens? A person meditates on the Virat Roop or universal form, then it will go towards it will have the understanding of a personal feature of the Lord. नहीं कोई personal feature है. Then he can move towards the Paramatma feature or the Bhagwan realization, and then go to the devotional service. And jab that person who is godless, from the gigantic root, from Virat Roop, Paramatma, from Bhagwan realization, going to the devotional service of the Lord, they will reach the spiritual planet. Kitne merciful hai, kitne dayalu hai. Out of his causeless mercy, Krishna is creating all these things. Let's move on to text number 39. Krishna Prabhu, and you can read the translation quickly.
Hare Krishna. Text 39. The sarvadivritya anubhuta sarva atma yatha swapna janekshitaksha tam satyamananda nidhim bhajeta nanyatra sajjeta yatat atmapata. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all-blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So now this last verse of this chapter, it is Sukdev Goswami is mentioning. Prabhupada writes in the purport, beautiful, first line only. In this verse, the process of devotional service is indicated by the great Goswami, Srila Sukdev Goswami. He is mentioning. Now devotional service पे आ जाते हैं सब कुछ, विराट रूप, अष्टांग योगा आपने देखा, विराट रूप देखा, universal form, everything. But now he is mentioning the importance of devotional service. क्या बताते हैं? He is who alone, the supreme person, वो ही है जो himself in so many manifestations, just as a person creates so many manifestations in dreams. So सारे जो विराट रूप है, परमात्मा है, ब्रह्मन realization है, ब्रह्म ज्योति है, सारे different manifestations है, but they are of that one supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Prabhupada explained this in a very simple way. Sun planet is there. When the sun comes out, the sun's energy is spread all around. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक जगह पे है, एक planet पे है. So many different planets far away, millions of miles away. Sun का energy है, sunlight है, it's spread everywhere. But the sun is still there. The sun disk, the sun planet is still there. In the same way, Krishna is that supreme person. Krishna is that supreme personality of Godhead, and his energy, his expansions, manifestations, energy is spread all around. Prabhupada says, what is the difficulty? Sun is there, his energy is spread all around the universes, and the sun is still there. In the same way, Krishna is there, his energy is spread all around the world, his manifestations are there. Bhagwan सबके हृदय में है. He is expanding himself to all different living beings in the heart of everyone. But Krishna is still there as a person. What is the difficulty? Prabhupada is asking. So, very beautifully, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu mentions that spirituality is not against science. It is above science. The science, they are trying to catch up. Spirituality is not against science. Congratulations on completing the first chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll begin from the second chapter tomorrow. I'm so sorry we got a few minutes late. Any comments?
Prabhuji, I have this question on your, your realization of, when you realize that Sri Krishna is the super soul at your, when you are in university student, and you discarded all the demigods. So what happened to, then what did you end up doing with all the demigods and the images and the statues you had?
Yes, not discarded. I have many friends. There was one of my very good friend, and I tried to say him, Krishna is supreme. नहीं, मेरे लिए तो गणेश जी है. Perfect. मेरे जो गणेश जी था, जिसको मैं पूजा कर रहा था, मैंने उनको दे दिया. Can you please worship this Ganesh ji nicely? He is perfect Ganesh worshipper. He was taking care of that Ganesh ji nicely. I had Hanuman ji, and there was one friend. I said, Krishna is supreme. नहीं, मेरे लिए तो हनुमान जी. Okay, no problem. Here is my Hanuman ji. You can look after them. Saraswati ji, किसी को दे दिया. सबको, the one who are attached to that particular demigod worship, सबको एक दे दिया सबको. And I am going to go ahead. मैं तो सुप्रीम फादर के पास जाने वाला हूँ. I am going to Krishna the topmost. मैं गुजराती बिजनेसमैन हूँ, छोटे मोटे से सेटल होने वाला नहीं हूँ. I want to go topmost. I want to go to the highest. This is the way recommended. जो जिसका है उसको दे दो. जो, because they are not ready yet. Maybe after some time और प्रसाद खाएंगे और हरि नाम सुनेंगे, they will be ready to worship Krishna. आएगा उनका भी, और वो भी वही करेंगे. हमारा काम topmost जाने का है. ठीक है. All right, we'll stop here with the interest of time. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
everyone.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.